Clarence, there were like 7 or 8 different things that could have happened out of that game, right? And everybody would have been fine. Some minor alterations. We need to address this. Linebackers a problem, whatever else. But they picked the one doomsday nuclear bomb scenario to hit, and they did it. And as a result, everything is on the table because that's how bad that was. Will that include the Dallas Cowboys doing anything with the starting quarterback that they've had? Dak Prescott had a great year. He did. Goes 12-5. Again, he's going to be an NFL regular season MVP finalist. Again, deservedly so. 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 8 billion yards passing. Looks great. Goes into the playoffs and lays an Easter bunny-size egg against the Packers and is terrible. To his credit, Dak Prescott owned it after the game, said I sucked. And if you're going to fire Mike McCarthy, then you got to throw me into that one too, because my success this season is as a direct result of my relationship with that guy, which is great. They're married to this guy. They got a $50 million cap hit coming up with him. They've talked about restructuring his deal. Jerry says that's a given. We're going to do it. In my mind, this guy's the quarterback of the Cowboys for at least the next 2 seasons, minimum. Clarence, he's great. Love the guy. There's 2 different things that we're talking about here. The guy, the leader, is exemplary, upstanding. You'd want your kids to wear number 4. The player has been terrific in the regular season, won a hell of a lot of games. Postseason, he's been really, really substandard. And if you got to go within, you got to go look inside the numbers. I've talked about this before. If you go back and look at every one of his playoff games, other than one, he's been bad. Go back to the rookie year against Green Bay. Green Bay comes in here, they're an underdog, and they jump on the Cowboys from the start. Dak's really bad. He gets hot in the second half. They tie the game, and Green Bay wins on a phenomenal throw by Dr. Aaron Rodgers and then a long field goal. 2 seasons later in the playoffs against Seattle, he's pretty good, and they win. They go to L.A. against the Rams. They have a great opening drive. They score on a touchdown to Amari Cooper. They look good. The Rams start running. Cowboys can't stop them. The offense can't move the ball until late because the Rams have pretty much just given up everything underneath, and the Cowboys make a blowout look closer than it needs to be. Dak was bad. So now let's go into the playoffs. 3 years ago against San Francisco at home in the wild card game you mentioned here at the top. Cowboys come out flat. Prescott's terrible. They don't get going until it's too late. They barely can move the ball against basically a 4-man rush. He looks bad. They lose. Last year in the playoffs in the wild card game against Tampa Bay and Tom Brady's last game, Dak lights it up. Looks awesome. Throws for 8 billion yards. We're rolling hot. Then he goes to San Francisco and Santa Clara. He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing, like he's ever played the position. He's terrible. He owns it. He says, man, I got to wait another year to prove everybody I know what I'm doing. He gets that chance on Sunday against Green Bay. He's absolutely god-awful. Throws 2 pick sixes in the first half. CeeDee Lamb, pardon me? What's that?
1 pick six.
I thought he threw 2.
No, it was 1. He was down. They scored on that drive, but it was 1.
Okay. So those 2 pick sixes.
It was 1.
Okay. Anyways. And he's
terrible. Aaron Jones' touchdown runs. It was 1. But he was bad.
But he was terrible. So yeah. Let me talk about what are you going to do with Mike McCarthy? What are you going to do with Dak Prescott?
Well, yeah, and I'm not even going to argue with you because I would say he was pretty good in that Seattle game, and he was pretty good. He was pretty good in the Green Bay game. He wasn't awful. They had a poor game plan. They ran the ball, and he came back and went toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers beat him because they couldn't defend a 3rd and 31. But that's semantics. The bottom line is, what can you do? And really the answer is nothing because of the money and because you hurt yourself when you refuse to sign him early on his rookie deal. And you let him get the leverage. You signed this 4-year deal after all these contracts, and we were talked about at the time. He signed a 4-year ironclad deal for $160 million. You could have signed it for $20 million if you'd done it in 19 or whatever else. You waited. You let the Rams sign their quarterback. You let sign win.
Everybody. Minnesota gave Kirk Cousins money. Everybody.
You put him on the franchise tag, and so you did it to yourself. Okay, you did it to yourself. And so now you're in a situation where he signed a 4-year, $160 million deal. Now he's going to the last year of his deal with a $59 million cap hit. Okay, you have to do something with the cap hit. You sign other players to do something to put your team together. If you say we're going to cut him, it's $61 million. Okay,
Them.
and you still can't move forward and improve this team because this was a playoff team. You want to find someone who's going to take you to the next level, a coach. Don't want to start over. If you say I'm going to let him go into the last year of his deal and then and don't do anything, it's $59 million. You can't do anything. He has a no trade clause. You can't trade him. Okay, you can't sign CD. You can't sign Micah Parsons. You can't do any of those things. And so you're really, Dak still has all the leverage in the negotiations. And so what do you do? And the question is, do you tie yourself up to more money with Dak Prescott because you almost have to extend him to really manage the team going forward, not knowing if he can get you to the top?
What I mean,
that's the question. Now, he has not played his best football when it matters most. I will grant you that. He's been a great regular season quarterback. He's not played his best football when it matters most. We need a guy at QB. Stop with the Kroger brand QBs. That sounds good, Devin. I hear you. Where do you find that guy? And how do you find who's out there? You're not going to go, and there's no Mets. You can't do a Mets Stafford trade because of the money, okay? You can't go find some veteran quarterback who needs a new start. And it's where you're picking in the draft. There's not anybody that's going to fall to. There's no Lamar Jackson who's going to fall to you to make the difference. That's going to make the difference with this team next year because there is not tearing it down. The fan base is not going to accept a tear down and build back up.